Off election week, I'm here with Congressman Tom Reed. Tom, thank you for being here with us this morning.
Thanks for having us on.
Waking up early just before a busy day tomorrow. How you feeling?
We're excited. We're getting close, and just trying to remind everybody, get out to vote. That's the most important thing.
That's right. We appreciate you stopping by and letting everyone know that's what's most important, just getting out and getting the vote out there. Also, talking about this race between yourself and Martha Robertson was known as one of the most competitive in the nation, and then just within the past week, the Rothenberg Political Report took it off the list as most competitive, and as well as Larry Sabato's crystal ball was saying that rather than leaning Republican, it's now likely Republican. Curious your thoughts on that going into tomorrow. Changing anything, or
not changing anything? I mean, I'll tell you how it turns out on November 5th, the day after election, when we know the results, because you know, the pundits are always pontificating, giving opinions, and at the end of the day, it's up to the people, and that's the way it should be. People decide on Tuesday, November 4th, and we just remind them, get out to vote, because that's really the only poll that matters, is the poll on November 4th.
And also wanted to ask you, one of the issues that came up this past year was voting against raising the federal debt ceiling last year and going with the government shutdown. If it goes towards that again and maybe a lame duck session after elections, would that be something you would vote for again to shut down the government?
Well, you know, we went to Washington, D.C. to do something, Kelly, and when we see policies that are coming out of D.C. not addressing the problems like our $18 trillion of national debt, it's not right. It's not fair to our kids that they draw their first breath owing $56,000 to the government as newborns. We got to do better than that. And so what I'm part of is any effort that's going to move us down the field to solve problems like our national debt, solve problems like getting people back to work and creating jobs so they have opportunities for today and tomorrow. I'll be part of that, and I'd be willing to reach across the aisle, come to those agreements, and so long as we're going in the right direction, not maintaining the status quo, because the status quo has gotten us into these problems we have, and it's time to stand up for people. It's time to care for people like I do, and that's what we have to do.
That's great. That was one of the issues I was thinking of looking back at this past year and focusing more on the issues, because I know the commercials. I have to bring up the commercials. I know a lot of people have seen them, and in terms of your commercials towards Martha Robertson as the radical ethical liberal, and her commercials towards you about the pictures and the photos before you had your surgery. So it seemed, you know, these things happen when you're campaigning for an office, but kind of steered away from the issues. Was that something you wanted to get away from, or can you remind our viewers of what really the core is here?
Well, I mean, the core issue obviously is the economy and jobs, and how we're going to promote opportunities for people coming forward. But I wanted also to show a contrast between my opponent and myself. And my opponent's beliefs, I think, are extreme. They really are. I mean, she's doubled property taxes. You know, more spending seems to be the common refrain that we heard in the debates as to how we're going to solve problems in D.C. You know, we have to learn to live within our means. People back home, in their home, my kitchen table, you got to live within your means. You got to balance your books. To me, that's the right approach as we go forward. And you know, I heard the criticism of the commercials, but you know, as we deal with this, and when you see, you know, fat pictures of myself and things like that, it's offensive. But we're going to move forward, and it's time to move forward.
Right, it's just a thing that happens as you campaign and run for office. Some of these commercials come out, but like you said, sticking to the main issues and letting people know that get out and vote tomorrow morning is what's most important.
Most important, get out to vote tomorrow, and it's something that we need to do, we should do. It's an obligation and a duty, and we just encourage everyone, get out to vote.
Is there anything else you want to let our viewers or your constituents know who are watching this morning in the Southern Tier? You came on this morning. Thank you so much for coming on, waking up early on a Monday morning before elections. But you know, one day left, really less than 24 hours. What would you want them to know to be informed before they head to
Well, first and foremost, to all our volunteers, to everybody who's been out there. I mean, the support has been overwhelming. The hard work. I mean, we're still knocking on doors. We're making phone calls. I really humbly am humbled and appreciate and personally thank everyone for supporting us. And it's time to move forward. And it's time. I'm excited about the opportunities of America's future. We're going to build it here to sell it there. That's what my advanced manufacturing initiatives are all about. We're going to reach across the aisle and find solutions for the American people, because that's why I went to Washington, D.C., and it's time to get it done.
And you had your term, and you know, what is it that makes you want to run again? Why do you want to do this again?
Because the job's not done. The debt's going in the right direction, but it's still growing. The economy is stagnant, and when you see 6%, 7% unemployment in our backyard, that's not acceptable to me. I want to provide opportunities so that when moms and dads are talking to their kids, they can say, you know what, like I do to our 14 and 16-year-old, you know, you have opportunities here to call this home for generations, just like I live in the house my grandpa built back in 1921. You know, that's the opportunity I want to provide for my friends and neighbors and all the people of Western New York, and we can do it, and it's time to get it done.
All right, well, thank you so much for being with us this morning. We appreciate it, Tom.
Thank you,
Best
Kelly.
of luck to you, and we'll see you at the polls tomorrow where will you be voting at?
I'll be in Corning,
Corning.
my hometown.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and we'll be right back after the break. Stay with us.